Now, regardless of how this shakes out with the Jay-Z case, what you just watched, this guy who you just watched cross-examine that guy who is 100 times smarter than anybody that is involved in this Diddy case. This is the guy who's going to be deposing Diddy in 120 cases. He's going to destroy Diddy, man. He's going to destroy him, and he's going to have all the videos too. This guy who clearly enjoys just reaching down the throats of people that he's working against and tearing their stomach through their mouth. It's going to be amazing, man. I hope I get to see these depositions, man. So, man, we got a big development in this Jay-Z case. Well, Jay-Z and Diddy case. And actually, with implications across, what did you just say? Implications across the entire Diddy and Tony Buzbee thing. Because there are now inconsistencies in the 13-year-old's accusation, like where she said, well, I did this on that night, and they're like, no, you didn't. And these are coming out right now in a way that I literally predicted exactly, where I was like, this is crazy to put other celebrities into this story because it's going to be very easy to verify whether or not they were there, you know? And so that is apparently blowing up in her face. However, I think this might be fool's gold, right? Where it's like, oh, wow, it looks like this whole thing is all a sham. Tony Buzbee doesn't actually have the goods. So we'll see. You know, we'll see, because we're going to look at this story and exactly what came out about her story that ended up not being true or whatnot, to what Tony Buzbee's response was. And I'm also going to show you this, okay? So this right here is a sequence that we're going to watch. Like, they're trying to act like Tony Buzbee is some kind of like hack lawyer, you know, some kind of like literally like a 1-800. I think they actually called him that, like 1-800 lawyer guy. And it's like, and everything I had read about him was the exact opposite of that he's a straight up powerhouse. And one of the fans of the channel, Wayne, who I talked to through email, he sent me a couple links to what we're going to look at here, which is Tony Buzbee. Busby was representing the Texas Attorney General. Okay. So when you see this entire thing, like I'll show you maybe, I don't know, like 5-6 minutes of it. And I'm going to pick it at random because it's an hour and a half long. And I watched some of it the other night and I was like, oh my God, these celebrities are so fucked. This is the guy who's coming at them. He's going to eat them alive. He's going to eat them alive. And after we look at both what happened in the case of the Jay-Z, and then you look at this, I'm going to tell you some other things that are like definitely happening behind the scenes with Tony Buzbee and his law firm, if in fact they did make a mistake on this particular lawsuit, because man, it would be catastrophic to their entire thing. And whoever was responsible is going to, I can't even imagine having Tony Buzbee as mad at me as he would be towards the person who was responsible for vetting the story if they made a mistake here. But trust me, do not leave this video until you see this interview right here with Baldwin on the Patrick Bet David Valuetainment podcast, because he reveals some information that's like, oh my God, keep in mind, this is Bieber's wife's dad, okay? So when he starts talking about what's going on behind the scenes, you're like, oh my God, dude. This is like worst case scenario for all these celebrities, and it's verified here. So again, do not leave before here, and all of this is going to be good though. So buckle in. Now, for anybody in need of $50 though, let me show you how you can make it super fast playing an incredible sports game. Check this out. Now, if I told you that you could make $50 for free if you take 90 seconds of your time to do something, it's something that you would do, especially if the 90 seconds is going to be something fun. Because that's exactly what PrizePicks and I are offering you right now. I want to be very clear. There is no gimmick here. There's no chance where this does not lead to $50 free for you. There's nothing you have to pick right. There's no game you have to win. If you play a $5 roster on PrizePicks, you will get $50 into your account whether you win or lose the roster that you entered. How much you can win in addition to the automatic $50 depends on the size of the roster that you pick, but I'll let you play around with that a little bit. Now, you also could try to win real big and play more than $5, but you don't have to. Take a look over here. Look at what I stand to win if I hit this roster. Hold me accountable to this. I'm putting it on my channel. I'm putting my face on it. Hold me accountable, and also hold me accountable to this. This game is super fun. You're going to want to play. As you can see on the left side of the screen, all you do is go through the athletes that you want to pick in a specific sport. In this case, we're doing UFC because my girl Rose Namajunas is fighting on Saturday. In addition to MMA, they have college basketball, college football, NBA, NFL, any sport you could think of, you can play on PrizePicks. Now, in the roster you see over here, this is obviously a UFC roster. I'm playing a $5 game, which means if this was my first game, I would see a free $50 put into my account the second that the game starts. So come join me for PrizePicks. It's an amazing game. You'll be supporting my channel and you'll be getting free money. Also, look at my roster, take a screenshot, and then you can see how I did. And also, I want to know who you guys are picking. Send me your rosters if you want. Link is in the description. Use promo code JesseOnFire for the $50 bonus. And that is what it is. All right, so let's jump into the Jay-Z. This is the good news for Jay-Z, okay? So Jay-Z goes on offensive, taking aim against Accuser and break from longtime wall of secrecy strategy. So Jay-Z's lawyer filed to have the sexual assault lawsuit dismissed after his accuser admitted to inconsistencies in her story. So, as one of the most powerful and talked about couples in entertainment, Jay-Z and Beyonce have mastered the art of intrigue, yada, yada, yada. Who cares about any of that? Okay, so in recent rape allegations made against the Roc Nation founder earlier this week, Jay-Z has been forced to level up his offense and speak out against his alleged accuser and her attorney. On Friday, Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs' sexual assault accuser known as Jane Doe sat down with NBC News and admitted to making some mistakes when recounting allegedly being assaulted by two rap moguls 24 years ago. However, the Alabama woman maintains that the accusations she made against the men are true. The same day, Jay-Z shared a statement with Fox News Digital and continued to shut Jane Doe's claims down against him. This incident did not happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what the inconsistencies were in a second. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it begun. This is 1-800-LAWYER. This 1-800-LAWYER doesn't realize it yet, but he will soon. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway. So while Jay-Z and Beyonce have maintained an impressive level of secrecy, experts say now is the time to tear that wall down. Okay, whatever. No one cares about Jay-Z and Beyonce, like their relationship right now. Did this guy sexually assault a 13-year-old or not? That has nothing to do with Jay-Z and Beyonce's wall of secrecy, dude. He either did this and he belongs in prison and should pay $100 million, or he didn't. And you know what I mean? Now, just to save us the time of me looking through this article to find exactly where I know what happened. Okay, so she claimed in her story that she got to the party and that she interacted with the Madden brothers. Now, you guys may remember them. They're the twins from Good Charlotte. Okay, so she said she talked to them both, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I talked to the Madden brothers, blah, blah. Exactly what I said. If you say anything about celebrities, specific celebrities, and it turns out that they were not at that party, it is going to destroy your credibility. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then she went to, she said that after it happened, she escaped and then she went to a gas station, called her dad. Her dad came and picked her up and drove her home. Okay. So 2 things. A, her dad is disputing the story. He's saying, I don't remember ever having to drive multiple hours to pick her up at a gas station and whatever. Now, does that mean for 100% sure it's not true? Because she's saying she didn't tell her parents about what happened. That doesn't necessarily mean, but it's her parents and they don't have, her dad doesn't have her back. Okay. That's number 1. But number 2, the big one, the Madden brothers were on tour. Okay. So they straight up were not there. Okay. So like I said, you put celebrities in, you're going to be able to verify where they were. They're like the one class of people where you can very easily go, well, what were you doing in, the year 2000? Bang. And then they figure it out. Okay. So those are the 2 inconsistencies. Pretty big ones, right? So Jane Doe's case, this Tony Buzbee said that his client remains fiercely adamant in her statements about the alleged rape and that they're true. Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another who vetted it prior to sending it to us. He told NBC News in a statement, our clients remain fiercely adamant that what she stated was true to the best of her money. We will continue to vet her claims and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists. Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. I have never had a client suggest that before. Yikes, dude. Because that's crazy, because now Busby, that sounds like a desperation move from Busby, actually. Like that, I'm going to tell you right now, Busby is rolling people's heads down the road right now, because now that I read that, I hadn't heard that statement before. This is not strategy, okay? Like I thought maybe this is like some kind of strategy that he was going to walk a bit. I don't know. Like Busby, just because after what I'm going to show you in a second, when you see who this guy is, and be like, there's no way they just filed a suit without making sure she's telling the truth, right? That's why I thought he had a video. But I've never had a client, volunteer to take a polygraph. Although they should give her a polygraph, Nonetheless, okay? So, but there he said, right here too, he said Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another who vetted it prior to sending it to us. Okay. So that's him taking his firm off the hook if she's lying. Okay. So that's two statements that to me indicate like they fucked up here. Like this might not be true. Here's the other thing. Okay. So Tony Buzbee has taken on 120 of these cases, 120 of these cases. Okay. They needed the first one to go well, and this is not going well. This is going bad. This is going real bad, actually, because he's made such a public spectacle of himself being the central figure in all of these, which is usually going to be a good weapon. The problem is if the very first one blows up in their face, then all of them lose merit, right? So this might not matter, though, for the record. Like I said earlier about Baldwin, when you see what Baldwin says, this all might not matter at all, okay? But just from the optics perspective, that's bad. So what I'm saying is Tony Buzbee, whatever firm referred this to Tony Buzbee and said that they had vetted it Busby's he's going to blackball them to the netherworld of lawyering. Okay. Cause this is a catastrophic fucking thing right here. Not just for this woman and her case, but for Busby personally, you know? So it is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story to the press. We are asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today, and will take up the matter of additional discipline for Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint. That's Jay-Z's lawyer, obviously. So yeah, I mean, dude, there's not much to add to that, right? Like, dude. If she said this and it wasn't true, how could you believe anything she says? Oh, yeah, I hung out with, like, you're not going to forget. You're not going to, I thought it was those other two twins from that number one band in the world at the time. Oh, there was not another one? Right, exactly. So, like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? That's not the kind of thing that you get wrong if you're telling the truth, okay? I do not have double standards here. I have Connor's back because that girl stayed and partied for 3 hours after she said she got brutally, whatever. And in this case, if this girl really got that wrong, how can you believe her? You know what I mean? Believe me, it's a lot better for me if Jay-Z did this, okay? But I'm not just gonna say, oh yeah, I still totally believe this anonymous accuser who just had her entire story blow up. You know what I mean? However, let's look at this, though, because, again, just to put into perspective what kind of attorney this dude is. All right, so check this out. This is Tony Buzbee, who is doing a cross-examination of Jeff Mateer, and Tony Buzbee is representing the Attorney General for Texas. Obviously, a very big deal.
Tell us all that date.
Where you want to point it to me?
10/1/2020. Do you see that?
I see the document says that, sir.
What date is it? When he applied to activate his license.
It says October 1st, 2020.
Let me get this right in my mind. On October 1st, 2020, you sent the general a text that we saw, right?
I did, yes, sir.
On that same day, you signed a letter, 7 of you, right?
Yes, sir.
And coincidentally, on that same day, George P. Bush, who ran against General Paxton, did he not?
He did in the primary.
George P. Bush applies to reactivate his law license. You see that?
That's what that document appears to say.
You ever hear that old saying, there are no coincidences in Austin?
Actually, I don't.
Never heard that?
I'm not an Austin guy, so no, I haven't heard that one.
There are no coincidences in Austin. You never heard that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Now I'm trying to figure out the connection here. Before October 1st, you had already talked to Johnny Sutton, hadn't you?
I had not.
Somebody had, right?
I believe so.
Somebody within these 7 people had, right?
I believe so.
And what's Johnny Sutton's relationship with George P. Bush?
I have no idea.
Don't know.
Any. I have no idea if there's any.
No clue.
No.
That's probably enough. You get the idea, right? Now, look up who Jeff Mateer is, okay? That guy was like the attorney one below the Attorney General in Texas. Now he is the chief legal officer at First Liberty Institute, okay? Like, the guy on the stand is a person who is going to be very hard to cross-examine versus like Usher. You know what I mean? Or like one of these celebrities who like they've never been put under pressure in their entire life. They have everything given to them. They're going to get eviscerated by this guy once he gets to depose them. You understand that? So even if this case does not get thrown out, this guy is going to be the one who gets to depose Jay-Z. And he's definitely going to get to depose Diddy many times over. This guy is Diddy's worst nightmare. Okay. He's his worst nightmare. All right, so you guys get the point. Let's move right along over here because this is very self-explanatory. I'm not even going to do any intro here. You just listen to what Baldwin says right here about what's going on behind the scenes in the Diddy case related to the videotapes. All right, here we go.
Take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now. They're driving that price up because if you want your client and your famous actor to not be involved, or famous singer to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those. This is what I heard. They're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X and Tommy X is...
Of course, that's what they're doing. Hey, did you know any YouTubers who predicted this exact thing? Yes, you do. It's me.
A big movie star. And he was at some of the Diddy parties. He was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out.
Hey, LeBron. Has LeBron come back yet? I can't remember if he's still on break.
He does not want it to come out. Same thing for Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the interesting thing about the Epstein and the theory about Epstein is we know he filmed people for sure on that island. He has a lot of movies, a lot of films of people that are very, very powerful political figures and entertainers, business people.
I'm sorry. The audacity of Baldwin wearing a Balenciaga shirt for this interview, though. Come on, dude. Okay. Right on the front of your shirt, Balenciaga. Really? Anyway.
So... do you really believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? And
of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there's other theories that he's in Lebanon. He never died at all.
Thank you. Does he watch my channel? Does Baldwin watch my channel, or am I just a fucking genius?
Having the weight of owning those films right now over people. So will Donald Trump release those films? I believe Donald Trump probably has a lot of friends that are in those videos too. I don't know if it behooves him to release them either. But what happens if iconic African Americans or iconic Japanese Americans or iconic Anglo Americans, former presidents, so what happens if they're in those videos? What does that do to the herding of the sheep? Because I believe that's exactly what we're experiencing.
Apparently there's videos of the parties.
Yep. So, I don't even know if I need to even add anything to that, except to say that I told you guys, told you guys. It's like, it's so obvious though, right? Like it's really, this all comes very naturally to me in terms of like leverage. What will a person do? That's why yesterday when I did my video on the John Jones situation in UFC, and I was like, Tom Aspinall, you need to negotiate your contract right now. It's because I, on autopilot, go leverage. How do you use leverage? What will they do? Yada, yada, yada. It's like, I know for sure Tom Aspinall has leverage. He will get paid a much greater sum of money if he negotiates against UFC right now, because the Aspinall and John Jones fight is right now, and they want to do, whether they tell him, oh, well, you're not a very big deal as it relates to this fight. Bullshit, okay? That's just standard negotiation. You just push back. You need to do it now. And in this situation, it's like, oh, geez, huh? Well, I've got this video here, and you can call it blackmail or I can call it business, but I feel like you wouldn't want me to sell this to TMZ. I actually own this video now. What do you think TMZ is going to do with it? Probably pay a lot, and if not them, I don't know. How about this upstart company that can make their brand on it? Or we could settle this thing like gentlemen for $10 million. How does 10 sound? How does 10 sound? And if they're doing something really fucked up, how does 50 sound? Justin Bieber. You know what I mean? And I feel bad saying it because I think Bieber is a victim here, and actually is terrible. I'm not even smirking, but it's like, If Bieber really is on a video with Diddy behind him, first of all, I hope Diddy fucking dies in jail. But, I mean, can you imagine what a young, straight, married father pop star would pay to not have that video come out? I mean, I hope it's not real. Seems probably real, though. But but I hope it's not. But even if that example's not real, there's a lot of other ones that are. A lot of other celebrities on those fucking tapes. So I do think that it's interesting that Baldwin, who is definitely privy to the Bieber situation, thought of famous person with dudes in there. You know what I mean? Apparently that's a normal thing, dude. If you're, you might not even be gay, but you might bang a dude because you're Hollywood, because we're definitely not Luciferian fucking weirdos.